We're witnessing one of the most intense Senate hearings this year, where tempers flared and hard questions demanded even harder answers. Senator Cory Booker just delivered a scathing critique that left Attorney General Pam Bondi scrambling to defend the Department of Justice's controversial decisions. In what can only be described as a political chess match, Booker systematically dismantled the administration's priorities, questioning everything from frozen grant funding to the massive reallocation of federal law enforcement resources. But Bondi wasn't backing down without a fight. Today, we're diving deep into this explosive exchange that reveals the stark divisions in how America should tackle crime, immigration, and justice. From $35 million in frozen public safety grants to the controversial arrest of a major city mayor, this hearing exposed the fault lines that are reshaping American law enforcement. What you're about to see isn't just politics as usual. It's a battle for the soul of the Justice Department, and the implications reach far beyond Washington. Stay with us as we break down every crucial moment, every pointed question, and every revealing answer from this must-see Senate showdown.
There were $35 million worth of grants that were approved in a bipartisan way in this committee, grants that invest in things that are really vital to the public safety of our community. I know, again, we are in a room full of people who want to see crime go down. Republicans and Democrats, law enforcement officers have spoken to the urgency of these programs which deal with school violence, which divert people into substance abuse and treatment, and supportive services. Community violence intervention programs, again, bipartisan programs that this committee really worked hard on this. I've heard what you've said to others on the committee. I heard what you said to Patty Murray in an appropriations committee that members should reach out to you if they want those grants reinstated. I've written letters, but I am hoping that you and I can have a conversation. $35 million of frozen funding for public safety that the people of New Jersey, Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, really invested in those resources, those programs, and those nonprofits who were expecting those grants often made outlays and are now really in a lurch. Can we talk about those grants and the restoration of them, please?
Yeah, and Senator Booker, I had stated earlier that yes, we did terminate grants. We have an appeal process. We have turned some back on. We are appealing. We are looking at some. Some we have denied. Some are still pending. I believe we have multiple appeals pending with New Jersey, and I would be happy to sit down with you and look at those appeals. I believe one is with the city of New Jersey. I know there are multiple ones pending, but of course, I would be happy to sit down with you or any senator or any House member and look at grants that have been terminated. I've been doing that, and I would welcome that.
But I will be the first one you sit down with, correct?
Absolutely. I'd love to sit down with you on that. I'll look at those tomorrow, Senator Booker.
Thank you very much.
Now, what you just witnessed was more than a simple exchange about grant funding. It was Senator Booker putting Attorney General Bondi on the spot about a decision that affects millions of Americans. Let's break down what really happened here and why it matters. Booker opened with a powerful statistic that immediately frames the stakes. New Jersey is one of only 4 states that sends more tax money to Washington than it gets back. When he talks about $35 million in frozen public safety grants, he's not just talking numbers. He's talking about communities that depend on these programs to combat school violence, substance abuse, and community violence intervention. Do you think it's fair for states that contribute the most to federal coffers to have their public safety funding frozen without clear justification? Notice how Bondi handled this pressure. She acknowledged terminating grants, but immediately pivoted to their appeal process. This is classic political maneuvering. Admit the action, but emphasize the remedy. However, Booker's follow-up was masterful. But I will be the first one you sit down with, correct? He wasn't letting her off the hook with bureaucratic promises. But here's where things get really interesting. Booker didn't stop at grant funding. He moved to something far more explosive, the arrest of Newark Mayor Ras Baraka. According to Booker, federal prosecutors charged the mayor after he sought access to a detention center for oversight purposes. A federal judge didn't just dismiss these charges. The judge called them embarrassing and a worrisome misstep. Listen to this quote from the federal judge that Booker read. Federal prosecutors serve a single paramount client: justice itself. Your role is not to secure convictions at all costs, nor to satisfy public clamor, nor to advance political agendas. That's a federal judge essentially accusing the Department of Justice of political prosecution. What do you think when a federal judge has to remind prosecutors that their role isn't to advance political agendas? But here's the bombshell. Booker revealed that a recently released video shows a federal agent saying the decision to arrest Mayor Baraka came, quote, per the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. This suggests the arrest wasn't decided by agents on the ground. It was directed from Washington, from what Booker calls main justice. When pressed on this, Bondi's response was predictable but telling. That matter is ongoing, and so I can't discuss it. As an attorney, she knows she can't comment on ongoing cases. But Booker wasn't asking about the case details. He was asking about the decision-making process, about how arrests of major city officials are being directed from Washington. Then Booker dropped perhaps his most devastating critique: the massive reallocation of law enforcement resources. According to the conservative Cato Institute, not exactly a liberal source, the administration has reassigned over 7,400 law enforcement officers away from investigating drug traffickers, prosecuting child pornography, and targeting white-collar criminals, redirecting them instead to immigration enforcement. Think about these numbers. 1,778 ATF agents moved to immigration enforcement. The White House admits they diverted 45% of agents in 25 FBI field offices to work on immigration full-time. This isn't partisan rhetoric. These are the administration's own admissions. With over 11,000 Americans killed by firearms just this year, does it make sense to pull ATF agents away from gun crime investigations? Booker didn't stop there. He detailed how the DOJ eliminated the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, dissolved the Community Relations Service, and rescinded grants supporting survivors of sexual assault and human trafficking. The picture he painted was of a Justice Department abandoning its core missions. Bondi's response was spirited but defensive. She insisted that OCDTEF's work continues, just reorganized. She emphasized that agents are, quote, working tirelessly on their day jobs while also handling immigration duties. But notice what she did. She made it about the dedication of individual agents rather than addressing the resource allocation critique. In his final moments, Booker raised another explosive issue: antitrust enforcement. He alleged that Bondi's chief of staff overruled career antitrust prosecutors and antitrust experts to approve a $14 billion merger between Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and Juniper Networks. This touches on one of America's biggest economic concerns: corporate concentration and monopoly power. Should political appointees be overruling career prosecutors and antitrust experts on major corporate mergers? In her closing response, Bondi tried to turn the tables. She emphasized that agents are working without pay during a government shutdown, appealing to sympathy. She insisted that core missions haven't been sacrificed and that the public integrity section hasn't been slashed, just decentralized to U.S. attorney offices. But here's what's really at stake here. This exchange reveals fundamentally different visions of what the Justice Department should prioritize. Booker sees a department that's abandoned public safety, antitrust enforcement, and victims' rights in favor of immigration enforcement. Bondi sees a department that's efficiently reorganizing to handle multiple priorities simultaneously. The truth likely lies somewhere in between, but the statistics Booker cited, from conservative think tanks and the administration itself, are hard to dismiss. When you move thousands of federal agents from investigating child predators and drug traffickers to immigration enforcement, there are consequences. This hearing matters because it's not just about policy, it's about accountability. Booker demonstrated how effective Senate oversight should work. Come prepared with facts, ask specific questions, and don't let officials hide behind bureaucratic non-answers. After watching this exchange, do you think the Justice Department is properly balanced in its priorities, or has it gone too far in one direction? Thank you for watching this analysis of one of the most revealing Senate hearings we've seen this year. The exchange between Senator Booker and Attorney General Bondi exposed fundamental questions about how America approaches justice, public safety, and federal law enforcement priorities. We'd love to hear your perspective on this crucial debate. In the comments below, tell us, do you think the Justice Department's resource reallocation is justified, or has it gone too far? Which moment from this hearing did you find most significant? Your insights help drive important conversations about accountability and governance. If you found this deep dive analysis valuable and want to stay informed about the most important political developments, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We're committed to bringing you thorough, fact-based analysis of the decisions that shape our democracy. The stakes in Washington have never been higher, and informed citizens like you are essential to holding our institutions accountable. Thank you for your time and attention, and remember, democracy works best when we all stay engaged and informed. We'll see you in the next video.